Okay, so in this video, we want to work on the serializer relationships and we also want to work on serializer method fields. So just to recap, we have an owner here. That's one of the attributes inside of a project. The only issue is with our API, we're only getting the owner ID and we want to get that owner object like nested into it. So for the tags here, we also don't want to just get the tag IDs. We want to be able to access the tag objects. So let's go ahead and take care of this. For this, we're going into our serializers.py file, and let's go ahead and just import tag here. And we also want to import profile. So I think the tag in profile is supposed to be to the user. So let's see, I think it's in the user models file. So we have a skill and then an actual profile. So the tag is from our projects, but in this case, the profile needs to be from users here. So from users.models import profile. Okay, so let's go ahead and build these in. So in this case, what we're going to do is create two more serializers. So we're going to do class here, and the first one is going to be for our tag. Actually, let's do profile. So we'll just do profile, and this is going to be a profile serializer. So serializer, and this is going to inherit from serializers.model serializer. So let's see, Serializer. I always misspell that word. It's one of those I have to like sound out. So we'll go ahead and configure the rest here. So you can probably predict what we're going to do here by looking at the project serializer, but we need to add in the model. This is going to be set to profile. So profile, and then we want to set the fields. For now, we're just going to use all like this. So all, and then we also want the tag serializer. So let's go ahead and just copy and paste this at this point. So we'll copy and paste that, and then this is going to be called tag. So we'll just do tag. We're adding two more serializers, and we want to start using these. So we're going to do this one by one. So there's a few ways of doing this. We could use a serializer method field, which we'll get to in a second, but in this case, this is as simple as accessing the attribute of a serializer. So in this case, the project serializer has the owner attribute. So what we need to do is we're going to set owner here, and we're just going to override what this returns. So in this case, we're just going to do profile serializer. So this is connected to a profile. We're just going to set that up here, and that is it. So we just need to specify that, and that's going to connect it. So in this case, we actually need to instantiate it, and we're going to say many is set to false. So we don't have multiple profiles or multiple owners. We're going to have just one. So if I save this, what's going to happen here is that owner field is going to use this profile serializer, and it's going to return back an object if we did everything correctly. So if I refresh that, look at what just happened. So we still have our typical project object. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. So we still have the title and all this information, but now the owner field, which we'll do Control F for, we'll just search that up. So now it's right here. So owner now gives us the owner's ID, the name, and all our information about our owner. So we just serialized that owner. I accidentally clicked on a link there. So, and that's, by the way, what the interface gives us. It gives us access like this REST framework UI here. So we got the owner object. So now we can actually nest relationships. For tags here, it's going to be the same thing. So we're still getting back these IDs. So let's go ahead and fix that. In this case, we're just going to do tags here. So we need to access the attribute. So tags, and this is going to be tag serializer. And for many, we're just going to set this to true. So we do want multiple tags. So if I refresh this, let's see, somewhere here, there we go. So now we have our owner and we have tags, which in this case gives us the tag ID, the name, and the created value. So that's how we work with those nested objects. And the next thing I want to do is talk about the serializer method field. So just like a model here has methods here. So let's see, somewhere here, let's actually go into our project here. So because we're dealing with a class, we can add in methods like this. So we can run a calculation, we can do whatever we want. We just add in a method and then we can just trigger that. So with a serializer, what we can do is add in a method to get all the users. What were we getting here at this point? Let's see. Oh, we were looking for reviews. So in this case, reviews are a child object, so we don't even see them in here. So if I do a Control F and I go for reviews here, there's no way to return views at this point. So what we want to do is actually go ahead and query and then return all those views or all those reviews. So in this case, let's go ahead and go into our profile. Let's see, was that in users? I think reviews were inside of users here. So we'll go into users, models, and that's a message. No, okay, so reviews are inside of the profiles or projects models here. So we want to serialize and then return back all of a project's reviews. So in order to do this, let's go ahead and import that model. So we'll just do review. That's from projects.models. And we're just going to copy this and let's create a review serializer. So we'll just do review and then we can just do review like this. And that now gives us a review serializer. So to use this, what we want to do is use something called a serializer method field to actually get this. So we're going to add in a new value and we're just going to say review. So this is actually going to add an attribute just to the serializer. So in here, we can just do serializers dot serializer, if I can spell that right, so serializer method field. So that's going to be a capital F here and then field like that. And I believe the serializer here has to start with a capital S. So we have serializer method field. So with this, now that we're using it, we could create a method for this class. So in this case, we have to create a function. And then we always have to start our methods with get. It's kind of weird, but any field here has to start with get. So it's kind of like saying, let's get this value. So it starts with get underscore and then whatever we want to call this method. So in this case, we're going to say get reviews. So it has to start with that if you're going to use a serializer method field. Now in this case, the serializer method field is going to take in self, and self does not refer to the model. It's going to refer to this serializer class. So we're also going to pass in object. So object is going to be the object that we're serializing, which will be this project. So we have our method here, and we are just going to want to return back a query set of reviews but serialized. So in this case, we'll just do reviews. And we're just going to do the old standard practice of taking the object here, so the project. So we're accessing object and not self in this case. And we're just going to do dot review underscore set dot all. So let's see, did we add a related name to reviews? I just want to make sure we didn't set that because we'll have to query that differently. Okay, so no, we didn't. So in this case, we can do review underscore set dot all. So this just gets all of a project's reviews. Now to actually serialize it, we're just going to do serializer, and this is going to be set to review serializer. And remember, this serializer has to be placed up here because if we built it in down here and then referenced it, it wouldn't know what the heck this is. So that's why we had to place it above. So in this case, we're just saying go ahead and serialize this query set of reviews, and let's set many to true. So if you ever wanted to use a method field like to calculate something, you would just do something like, let's just do total. Let's say you want to get the total votes or something like that. So we would just do total, set the serializer method field, and then create a method called get totals. So it doesn't have to be just used for these query sets. So in this case, we're going to do serializer dot data, and we're just going to return that data. So if I save this, this attribute will be added to this object here, I guess, as the JSON object. So if I refresh this, let's see. So at this point, this object has no reviews. So it's an empty list. So let's quickly just find what project here has reviews. So let's just do admin here. So we're going into the admin panel. We'll go into reviews. And let's see. So we have a downvote for Code Sniper. Sorry, Shuvo, that's his project. We were just testing there, so we had to downvote it. So let's go into Code Sniper. So I'm just going to do a search for Code Sniper. So we just want this ID. Actually, you can see the reviews right here. So there we go. So we're still using that serializer. In this case, I just want to get that object. So let's take this ID. We'll paste it in here. So now we have Code Sniper. We see the owner. We see the tags. And we have our reviews. So we query the reviews. In this case, we just have one. And we can now see the object for our reviews. So that's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do in this video. To recap, we just created a few more serializers, so 3 more, and I showed you how to get objects that are direct relationships. So a parent object here and a many-to-many field, which we can just do like this. And then I also showed you how to add in a attribute into this JSON object by using a method field. So that's the recap here. We didn't have to modify anything anywhere else. We just did that in the serializer. And that's it for this video. In the next video, we are going to start working with Postman because I want to start querying the database or the API, not by accessing this, but by accessing or using Postman for this. And if you're not familiar with that, I'll introduce you to that in the next video.